And other Syrian towns where anti-government protests have raged for weeks. Witnesses say snipers on rooftops opened fire. At least a dozen people were killed around the country, including an 8-year-old boy. Even those trying to help the wounded were forced to brave the gunfire. Other towns too came under fire or were raided as security forces hunted down those believed to be involved in the dissent. But in one city at least, the government crackdown appears to have worked. This is Daraa, where the protests first broke out in Syria in March and where scores of people have reportedly been killed in the weeks since. Syrian state television says the streets here are now calm and life in Daraa is back to normal.
Everything is normal. Conditions are normal, even more than normal. I met several friends and neighbours.
The Syrian government blames armed terrorists for the unrest that has dragged on for 2 months and by many reports killed at least 600 people. It even agreed last week to allow a United Nations human rights team into the country to see for itself, but the UN says it's still being denied access.
I'm disappointed that the UN humanitarian assessment team has not been granted access yet to Daraa and other places.
European nations will consider new sanctions on Syria to protest against the government's brutality.
Mr. President, the Syrian people will not bow to tanks. We say to the regime to change course and to change course now.
It's a similar story in Libya, where fighting continues in the key city of Misrata. Muammar Gaddafi's forces have repeatedly bombed and shelled the city and its port for weeks. But the rebels have had a surprise victory, forcing Gaddafi's troops back from the front line and capturing Misrata's airport. But as has been seen so often in this conflict, what the rebels win one day is lost the next, and many fear the fighting in Libya could drag on for months. Anne Barker, ABC News.